TN, supported by Weller Dazzles.
It's that time of the week again, where we crown your day with conversations that matter right here on the Natalie Show on GHOne television. I am super excited for my conversation with my guest tonight, David Larmie. Now, my guest this evening is the founder and CEO of African Wear Ghana, which is a leading clothing company producing tailor-made pieces for notable personalities, including ministers of state, members of parliament, and international diplomats. However, his story didn't start out very rosy. After quitting his job in the hopes of pursuing his passion, he was faced with numerous challenges, which included getting diagnosed with kidney failure. But he persevered, and today David sits with me on the Natalie Show to share that journey. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's really good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
How is everything?
Everything is fine.
Yeah?
Everything is fine. Yeah.
So on the show, there's a famous question: what's the state of David's life right now, as we speak?
Oh, David, I would say life is great now. In the area of business and personal life, I think that everything is awesome. Yeah.
What does your awesome place look like?
Well, with me, when business is good, I'm happy because I see the business as my child or my baby. So once the business is doing well, I'm happy. That's what makes me excited.
That's what makes you excited?
Yeah.
So outside of business, if I was to ask you what's the state of your life without business, I know you're very close to your business, and it's been, a big idea for quite some time. But what's the state of David's life outside of his business?
Oh, outside of business, I'll say it's equally great because I always have the chance to be with my family, and so that also makes me happy. The opportunity to be with my family all the time, because I work on my own. I tend to have enough time to spend with family. So,
is this now? We're going to get into your story, and of course, setting up your own business and getting diagnosed with kidney failure. But when you say that right now spending time with family and having your business fulfills you, is this what you always dreamt of? Did you think that at this stage of your life would look like it's looking?
Well, I didn't. All I knew was I was going to be a great person one day. But I didn't know it was going to be this great. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
so this is a real home where you are right now. This is a very great place. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a lot of progress, right?
Sure.
That you've made. So you said you always imagined and thought of yourself as being a great person.
Yeah.
But you didn't know specifically what that thing would be?
Yeah, I didn't.
What your contribution to society would be?
No, I didn't know.
At all?
No. Because growing up, I had always wanted to be a farmer.
What were your parents doing professionally? Did they have anything to do with farming?
No, they didn't. I grew up at Labonin, and was more like we're in a family house at Labonin. So you had your grannies around you, and they loved animals. Okay. So I tend to help them. So I developed love for animals.
So you had animals at home?
Yeah.
Okay, which ones?
We had goats, we had poultry, and so I tend to take care of them every single day. So I developed a love for animals.
That's interesting. Yeah. And what sort of a childhood did you have? Was it a middle income, high income? What sort of an upbringing did you have?
We're not rich, and we're not poor. Yeah, so we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. but my parents made sure that I got the best of everything. Yes, they made sure they provided every single thing that I needed. Even when I didn't perform in school, I always had my birthday party.
Even when you didn't do well at school, you always had a birthday party at school.
Those times when results come out and it was that bad, I take a eraser and change my grade.
No, you're joking?
Yeah, I used to do that.
And then you take it to your parents?
Yeah, I take it to
and
that. I always got caught, but
they were fine.
Yeah,
they never punished you or shouted at you for that.
No. They still, there are times that maybe results comes in maybe 2 or 3 days to the party.
Oh my God!
And I still get to have the party.
Yeah, so wow, your parents were understanding.
Very.
But how did that shape you? Because you say that growing up, you didn't know exactly what your contribution would be to society.
Yeah.
Do you think that this sense of ease and openness that they gave you, and not punishing you for not performing, do you think it made you less, aware of what exactly you wanted to do? A number of times when we have young people who their parents may be like, okay, you're going to set out to be a doctor or to be this. Not that I even believe in that way of parenting, but it gives you a sense of aspiration that you know that you're going to contribute this to the world. So do you think that in any way made you more passive?
Well, you can say so.
You can?
Yeah, you can say so. Yeah. Can say so.
But what were the good sides of that, in your opinion?
I don't really know.
Yeah?
I don't really know.
What were the good sides of them not punishing you for not performing was?
I think that they knew that I didn't like school.
Okay, so you didn't like school?
Yeah, I didn't like school. Those days I had to change my school a couple of times because
how many times?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 times.
Where did you go to school?
So there was a school at North Kanishi called PEPS.
Okay.
Then Royal Preparatory School. Then also home school. So I was a bit truant in the early days because maybe I'm sent to school, then I make sure they leave, then I also walk out of the school.
You make sure your parents leave and you walk out of the school?
Yeah.
That is not a bit truant, that's extremely truant. So where do you go?
So I just go loiter about, keep on asking people, what's the time? I knew school closed at 12. What's the time?
It's for you to leave.
Yeah. So I try walking towards the house when I know it's around 11. I know maybe by 12 I get to the house. But they always notice, because maybe school closes at 12 and you didn't time it very well. I was young. I wasn't the school type, I always say.
You were?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite subject though?
Agric.
Oh, you really loved agriculture?
Yeah, I did love agric. I did.
Any siblings?
Yeah, I have about 5 of them.
Why about?
I always need to calculate. My dad can always strike and surprise us somewhere.
Yeah. Did he ever strike you with one that wasn't from you, both parents?
Okay, so I think that I'm the single one. My mom and my dad gave birth to me when they were younger.
Okay.
Right, so they moved on to marry. And
wait, other people?
Yeah, other people.
Okay.
Yeah. So that side, my dad has about 3, and he has 1 elsewhere. Yeah, understand.
Wow.
Yeah. Then my mom has me and my other brother. My other brother is Captain, the one who does music with Shatta.
Oh, interesting. Your brother's Captain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a stepbrother.
Yes, stepbrother.
Interesting.
Yes.
I see. Wow. Okay. So I like how you put it.
Yeah.
Okay. So technically, you have 3 from your dad, 2 from your mom, yourself included, and then you never know if your dad can surprise you.
Yeah. He's a striker.
Yeah.
He's a striker. Yeah.
So how are those dynamics with your? So your parents remarried. Your parents got married.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yes.
Interesting. I see. How are those dynamics for you at home? Just having some step siblings and.
Okay, so I didn't stay with any of them. I only stayed with my mom and Captain.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's maybe I visited them, but I didn't stay with.
So what's your relationship with both your mom and your dad like now?
Oh, we have a great relationship. I love them. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. So I love them. I'm always with them.
Both of them?
Yeah,
your dad included?
Yeah,
okay.
We talk a lot. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I see. Interesting. You've had an interesting childhood.
Yeah.
And you said you left home after secondary school.
Yes.
And chose to take your own path.
Yes.
What path was that? Because you didn't even know what you wanted to do professionally, apart from your passion for agriculture.
Yes. So after secondary school, I really wanted to study agric. Okay. I wanted to practice agric. That's my love. But I noticed that I didn't have the means to actually practice agric because you need land, you need all the resources to farm, and I didn't have them. So I had to shelve that idea or that desire to practice agric and study other stuff, try other stuff to, because I knew with agric, no matter how old you are,
you can always
do agric. Yeah. So I took up a few IT courses. I took up a few, that's web designing and graphic designing. Those days when you complete school and you don't study IT, you have nobody, everybody wants to study IT. So I did that, and immediately I landed myself a job at Metro TV.
How old were you?
So it was the same year we completed, so probably like 20 years. 20? Yeah.
So you had a job, you got a job at Metro TV at 20. What were you doing?
So I was doing visual effects. That was the title given it. Maybe when you have you on TV, I present your name on the screen and the end credit. Well, at the time it was my first job, so I did, and the prestige attached to working at Metro TV at the time. You could enter places by virtue of the fact that you have a Metro TV ID card, and you get the girls because my daughter works at Metro TV.
You enjoyed the perks. Your parents were comfortable with what you were doing?
Yeah, because they could see me put on tie. and
they
preferred that. They wanted their son to be
a 9 to 5
Yeah.
So you said you enjoyed the prestige and all that it came with. Yeah. But at what point did you feel like there was a new path ahead for you?
So those days we were being paid about 75
CDs.
75 CDs.
A month?
That was probably 750 CDs today. Yes.
Around 7.
And maybe after deduction of taxes and all that, I left with about 45 CDs. And maybe if your girlfriend visits you and you take her out once, the rest of the month you have to struggle. You have to struggle through the rest of the month. So I told myself that if I'm going to sit behind this PC and say I'm the IT guy, I'll grow up with nothing. So I started thinking about what else I could do, and I tried media games. I tried. I first tried what do you call it?
When you say media, like animation?
So I decided to come out with a. Like those side the media houses used to have media games. So I looked at it and I said, I could do this. So I registered the company and started the process, and with a few of the colleagues at Metro TV. And I assigned everybody to a role. And so I went ahead, secured a few sponsorships, like Formula 1, La Race at Osu, and another client sponsored with 2 other clients sponsored. Now, thinking that my other colleagues have done what they were supposed to do, they didn't. So on the day of the event, we have venue, I have a few sponsors, and the media houses didn't turn up. because they never got
the invitation.
Yeah, so I had to devise a plan. So I told the guys, okay, let's just organize a game among us. Then we present as the games. So the next morning I was at work, and I said I stayed at Laboni.
Yes.
So Laboni, Metro TV, that close. Cantonment Police Station is very close. Yes. Then the company that sponsored us is also close. So the man called me and said, David, you've defrauded me. I didn't see anything on TV3. I said, no, I didn't defraud you. We had the games. We showed it on Metro TV. He said, no, you defrauded me. I'm going to report you to Cantonment Police Station. Oh. I was bring back my money. So I went back to the same boys I went to enjoy with. I said, hey, this is what happened. Everybody says they didn't have money. I said, okay. Then I went back to one of the sponsors, narrated the story to me. The sponsor gave me the money to settle the man.
The other sponsor.
So you know, like, but some of these things you learn from it. Yes, you learn.
What did you learn?
Yeah, I learned. I learned that maybe in future, if I'm organizing an event, I have to do a lot before bringing people in. Yeah, I need to do follow-ups.
Absolutely, yourself as well.
Yes. Then I tried a lot of things. How my future is going to be? How am I going to pay kids' school fees? How am I?
You were thinking about kids. You didn't have any kids at the time.
No, I didn't have.
But
any
you just
kids.
wanted a good future.
Yeah, I wanted.
So you felt like being an employee could not afford you a good future.
It couldn't at all. Yeah. With my 45 CDs, it couldn't.
So what was the turning point for you?
Yeah, so I decided to quit the job, go stay at home, and
you didn't have a backup plan?
I didn't have a backup plan. I tried to find myself.
What do you mean by find yourself?
Discover what else I could do. What else I could do to move me from wherever I am to the next level. So being in the house for a while, there was one of the paint companies brought up a new product, and they took me on to help them to do the marketing of the product. So I represented them both in Accra and Kumasi. And the comments that I was getting was, wow, you are good at marketing. Have you studied marketing? You are good at... So I decided to study marketing. So that's how come I went to the Polytechnic to study marketing.
So we're going to fill in the gap there shortly on the Natalie Fort Show. Do stay with us.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Natalie Fort Show. Now, this show is made possible through the sponsorship of MTN, supported by Weller Dazzles and Taft College. Setting up Creative Line and African Wear as a subsidiary, what was that like, particularly being hit with the news that you had kidney failure?
Yes. So I'll answer by saying that the struggle was real. So basically, like, you decide to start a company with nothing, virtually nothing, and it was just 100 cedis I borrowed from my mom to get the basic stuff to start the business. Now, along the line, during the struggle, I noticed that the color of my urine had changed. So I'm the type who doesn't even want to go to the hospital because I'm hustling. I don't have the time to go to the hospital. But my girlfriend at the time prompted my mom, and my mom forced me to go to the hospital. So I went to police hospital, and they admitted me, and they said this is what I was suffering from. So that evening they made an ambulance pick me to Kolebu, and that's when I knew that the danger was something serious. So I got to Kolebu, and the nurse came around and asked a few questions and was like, wow, you're suffering from kidney failure. You need close to about $30,000 to stay alive. At that point, I knew I was dead because I didn't
even have money for your business.
I didn't have.
You need about 30,000 cedis to stay alive, is what she said.
Yes, because I had to go through dialysis.
David, I can imagine that staying at Kolebu and that entire process of treatment was difficult. Describe what it was like and what went on.
Well, when I was first taken to the ward, I think the next day, the gentleman on my left-hand side died. Then the day after, the one on my right-hand side died. So I was like, wow, am I next? You know, I was that afraid. I didn't know what was actually wrong with me at the time. And that's where you could see a lot of errors of nurses giving patients wrong medications.
Did you have such an experience?
Yeah, I did. But I told the doctor it was my fault that I was given a wrong medication. I confused the nurse because I was afraid that something may happen to me if the doctor blasts the nurse.
That she could give you something.
I think I was kind of protecting myself.
Yourself, okay.
Yeah.
Not her.
Yeah.
So what else happened? What was the process of even putting the tubes in you? Describe it.
Yeah, with mine was done around my thigh, so they inserted the catheter through my bladder, and it wasn't a very good experience. Then other bad experiences when you experience what is called rigor. That's an intensive shivering that occurs to you after going through the dialysis. And I remember a few friends had visited me when I was having that experience, and they were all crying. It wasn't a very good experience, really. Yes, and the wheelchairs were not good, and you having the catheter and the floor is uneven, and
so just the period even getting admitted into Kolebu.
Yeah.
Was it an easy admission? Because Kolebu is a very a hospital that's really tasked. So was it easy getting a bed and all that?
Yeah. So I was fortunate that I had a friend who is still at Kolebu, who quickly noticed me and went up there to make sure that I got a bed at the medical ward. Yes.
It was a friend who helped.
Yes. So I think the whole process I've been lucky to meet people and get support from people. Yes, so.
Yeah, and in those moments, you thought you wouldn't make it?
No.
What thoughts were running through your mind?
And from the emergency ward, when I was told I needed $30,000 to survive, when my whole capital, both in life and business, was less than, let's say, maybe at that time less than 200 cedis, because I started with 100. So I knew there was no way I was going to make it. I wasn't expecting anybody to be able to come to my aid. Sometimes clients that I happen to work for once, and they call to place an order, and they are told I'm at the medical ward and for dialysis, and they just rush in there and come to support me.
You. Yeah. And what were some of the most difficult periods during the treatment process, vividly, that you can remember?
Yeah, so I remember that I went to take a shower after they had put in the first catheter, and later I was told that I wasn't supposed to have taken a shower with the catheter on. I mean, nobody told me.
No one told you.
Yeah, so they had to transfer it to the other side. And I think the doctor at the time who was doing it was, let's say, probably didn't have much experience in doing that. So there was a lot of try and error. I was a bit in pain at that time. Like they kind of inject the place for it to be numb before they pass the catheter, but somehow you feel the pain. And so I think
the wrong injections.
No, so I think in the process the needle even pricked the hand of the than the doctor who was working on. So I remember her saying, "Hey, we need that woman there just out top on me," you know, that kind of thing. But I think they did marvelously well. They did marvelously well, and that's how come I'm here today.
Yeah.
Yes, I would have been.
Did you witness any deaths?
Yeah, I did.
The first and second, the people to the left and right.
Left and
there
right.
Any others?
Yeah, I think there was a gentleman who had who was given wrong medication. He slept for a very long time. Woke up, took a shower, ate, lie down, and he was gone. Yeah. So there are a lot of errors.
Were they surprised you made it? Particularly the nurse at the beginning who told you that you're more likely not.
That nurse was at the emergency ward, so I didn't get to meet her again. Yes, I didn't get to meet her. Yes.
And so just in general, as a patient, we often talk about Kolebu, and they did a great job, that's just why you're here, and thank God you're here. But as a patient, what observations did you make that you think, we need to do better with?
So I think that communication, we have to work on communication, because you pass a catheter through me, you do not tell me the do's and don'ts. Then I go to do X and you come back to tell me I shouldn't have done X. So we have to work on communication. Is actually a problem everywhere here. And the nurses, I mean, there are some that are old, some with very bad eyesight. That I remember an instance where a nurse told a patient that the patient had BP, and we later found out the patient didn't have any BP. You understand? Maybe the nurse might have misread his prescription and all that. So there are lots, maybe wheelchairs. I think we as a country have to take a good look at the dialysis center. Maybe more machines, better wheelchairs. I mean, so if you've passed the catheter through somebody and the wheelchairs are not good and the floor is not even, and they are being moved up and down, and at the point maybe a lift is not working and all that. I mean, it's going to worsen the already bad situation. Yes, maybe this may not be with the dialysis, and I don't know. My issue was way back 2009, so maybe things have improved now.
But still, generally, just some relief, particularly of Kolebu when it comes to dialysis. Difficult, but you're here now.
Yeah,
and that's what's important. You lived in spite of it all. Now,
yes. So. Fortunately for me, the kidney failure that I had was the acute, right, which is reversible, right. So you'll be kept on the dialysis machine. So basically, it's like your kidneys are not working. So you are put on the machine, and the machine draws your blood and cleans it and puts it back
to get it to work.
And it wasn't a very.
How long were you on that machine?
So I was on admission for a whole month. Was admitted at was taken to the medical ward Kolebu. Yes, so I stayed there undergoing dialysis, and
it must have taken a big toll on you.
Yeah, it did take.
Who paid?
Friends, family, let's say loved ones, and people that I didn't even know. I mean, there were times that I'll be there, somebody will come, "Hey, are you David Larmie?" I say yes. When you need blood, let them come to the blood bank, we'll give you blood. To date, I don't know who. You understand? So I was fortunate to have survived the kidney failure. Yes.
It must have been very, 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 very difficult.
Yeah, very.
And how about your partner at the time? How did she? Well, your girlfriend?
Okay. So at the hospital, a lady whose husband was suffering same called her to the side and told her that this guy is not going to make it. So just walk.
She told your girlfriend that you are not going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to make
just
it.
Leave the relationship, basically.
Because her husband is suffering same. But what she did was rather to move from where she was staying to get to my mom's end, so that they could visit me every single day at the hospital, day and night.
Every day, and this was your girlfriend at the time, not your
girlfriend at the time. So when I recovered. Before I met her, I was actually nursing a broken heart from another relationship. So when I recovered, I was like, okay, so when the best time to know if someone loves you is maybe when you are sick, when you don't have money, you know, those kind of things. So she's passed all these tests. So why keep her as a girlfriend? Why not marry her? Even around that time, I still didn't have what it takes to marry. Yes, but somehow we managed to
make it,
to take that step. Yeah.
So you got well, thank God, and you're alive now, in spite of being told that you would die. And then at that stage, you had decided that this was your partner for life, right? Sure. Based on her actions. And then your business, you had just started this business. Yeah. You already didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
What sort of a toll did it take on continuing the business after you got better?
Yeah. So right at the hospital, when I noticed I was getting a little better, I requested that my laptop be brought to me. Then a young doctor was like, you don't want rush, you don't want come rush plus your laptop. Because that man didn't know what was chasing me. I couldn't just sit without doing anything. I had a lot of responsibility. I had stuff to do, you understand. I had a journey which I was nowhere. So go back right up. I had to go back to my parents and to stay there for good care. And immediately I started working. I left home very early. No, I left home very early. I woke up around 4 a.m. did what that I had to do. Around 7, I'll be on my way to GHOne campus, room to room, departments. So maybe sometimes I leave GHOne campus like 1 a.m. each day.
To go and market the business.
So
for those who don't know, tell us a bit about this business.
Okay, so we initially started with t-shirt printing because I had graphic designing background and she had GKA background from secondary school. So we decided to start a t-shirt business, but because I didn't know how to take care of it, I employed somebody who was good at it. And at the time I was employing him, I didn't have money to pay him his first salary. But I said, yes, I'll give you. So what I did was, I walked from, by then we were at Ringway Estate, I walked from Ringway Estate to office, looking for, I don't go to the companies themselves because I didn't have the
relationship.
Yeah, and even the document, I mean, I didn't know. So I go to the secretaries, I say, oh, I can do a t-shirt with your name. I say, oh, really? Okay, then I want a pink, blue, you know, they give me the colors. Yeah. Then I take part payment. I go buy the materials, give that for the gentleman. As he works on, then I watch how he does it. Yeah. So that's how come I got to learn how to do the printing. So at the end of the month, I was able to gather enough money to pay the gentleman, but we don't get anything. And it was so discouraging that many times I had to quit in my head. Yeah, but just when you try to quit, then somebody calls you. Hey, David, I want one shirt, and it just encourages you. So that has been the journey. So along the line, because my girlfriend at the time had come to Accra to study fashion. When she completed, we got our first sewing machine. Right. Then I always wanted to work with her together.
Was she comfortable with this entirely all the time?
Oh yeah, she was. She was. We sat and planned and what name to give the company and all the processes, right? So I never take credit for everything. I know that it's a 50-50 thing. Yeah. So.
And you didn't. I know at some point you didn't have an office.
Yeah, we didn't have an office. Yes, starting out, we had to operate from the security post of the house we were staying in. The landlord was so great, and he allowed us to use his space. Yeah. We didn't. In fact, the only machine we owned at the time for our work was the ordinary iron that is used in our residences. Yeah, but I mean, when we print and you see, wow,
did any clients ever want to see your office? Never want to come by?
Many times. But I always like, look, I know you're a busy person. You stay. I'll come anytime you need me. Let me come to you. Because where is he coming?
It's not befitting for clients.
Yeah.
To come. And then when do you start to see things pick up?
Well, every single day there is progress. Because I remember one time I was going to buy a shirt. I went there and I said, Madam, give me 2 shirts. Then somebody came and the person came to buy a sack of shirt. I was like, when will I get here? And one time I had an order to produce that quantity, a sack, and I struggled. And then I knew that God knows why he does certain things. He gives you 2, you're able to increase it to 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they are in stages. So that made me understand why God gives somebody 100 cedis to start a business. God gives somebody 500 cedis. Yes, that's what you are prepared to handle. Yes, so they are in stages.
There you go. And then at what point did you get a location? A befitting location for your office?
Wow.
And employ.
So business started in 2007. 2013 we got our first office, and so we got our first office 2013, and the idea was to use it as a t-shirt showroom, right? But I mean, people were not coming, so we had to bring my wife's sewing machine in there. She started sewing in there. Then I said, okay, so if she's sewing, she's getting clients. Why don't I increase the number of machines? So I go take loan from one of those microfinance with high interest rates. They give me so much pressure. I pay up, then I take another one.
Another loan.
So the whole idea is, I didn't want us to disappoint any clients. Right. And I didn't mind if we get 1 cedi out of what we do. The fact that we are satisfying clients. So I kept on taking loans upon loans.
But didn't that hurt you? What was that like?
Well, it did. It was stressful. I mean, you could see I'm great all of a sudden, because you need to put in a lot. You need to put in a lot to be able to. So yes. So I mean, we get other shops. And
how many shops do you have currently?
So currently we have one big space, a self-compound, and we have our showroom within at the entrance. But we had other shops scattered on the Swan Lake Road. We just collapsed them. Sometimes you're there and they see that, oh, things are moving on well for you. They say, hey, person see story building and they have no plans of, they eject you and they don't use it for anything. Yes, but anytime we are being ejected from a place, I take it that it's God's way of saying that
there's even bigger.
We are moving to the next chapter of there. Yes. So currently we are maybe in the middle of the book. We've not gotten.
You haven't gotten there yet.
Not gotten.
You haven't gotten there yet, but you've gotten far enough.
Yeah, we've gotten far enough. We could say that today we have capacity of 60 industrial machines. Yeah, 60 industrial machines, and we have room to grow to maybe about 100. In your sky, we can grow. You
can grow. So you're always confident, I believe, about the decision that you took to quit your job.
Very. So I don't give up easily. If I take a decision, I want to make sure that I stand by it to the end of it, no matter how difficult it is. I stand by it. I mean, even my mom was even against the fact that I was going into this clothing thing. She said, but I was beyond the level of being discouraged. You understand?
And I think another thing is that you were blessed. You seem to have been blessed with good people along the way. I mean, from having been diagnosed with kidney failure and literally having people you didn't even know settle your bill. And then, of course, having your wife as well support you in this dream. What's her name?
Bernice.
Yeah. Any children?
Yeah, we have 2 girls, Daniela and Desiree.
Are you done?
if God blesses us with another, I'll take it. Yeah.
You know, in today's oftentimes we would have a girlfriend who may want to see that a man has it before they may commit, right? And your wife now stuck through even when you didn't have what it took. What do you make of that notion now of women wanting to see a man all set up before she says yes?
Yes, well, I think that it's not the best of notions to have, because today, for instance, I cannot claim ownership of everything, right? I say that it's for us. So at any point that I get opportunity to speak, I say I don't take credit being the man and say I did it, but we did it. She contributed towards it. Now, when you go into a relationship to build something where you have no contribution, the man doesn't accord you that respect that you deserve, right? So I respect my wife a lot, you understand, because without her I wouldn't be where I am, you understand. So if any lady out there wants to gain that much respect from the husband,
be prepared to stick through. Be prepared to stick through is what you're saying. And so what's the next chapter of David's life?
The next chapter of David's life is to become way bigger than we are, and be on the international, be more on the international market. And so, you know, we started with Creative Line, then out of it we had Prestige Clothing that takes care of mass production, and Creative Line does individual production. Then we have the t-shirts printing, then we have souvenirs, branding of souvenirs, right? Then we have AfricanWear.gh, which is to sell already made products.
So that's a subsidiary of
yes. So we are looking at, so we are still renting facilities, right? So we are setting up our own factory somewhere in the eastern region. That probably could take 200 to 500 machines. So the future is bright, I must say, and I know that we'll make it. And I'm happy that I took the decision to sacrifice the comfort. Yes, to sacrifice it. Yes, and to embark on this journey. Yes, we are not there yet. I will be there.
You know. David, thank you so much. I like how you put that. You took the decision of moving away from the safe space, right? Because a lot of people find themselves stuck in that safe place of being employed, right? And seldom take that next step. So thank you very much for sharing, and I'm very excited for the future that's ahead for David. Do stay with us here on the Natalie Ford Show. We've got Fantastic with David shortly. David, we've got Fantastic up next on the Natalie Ford Show. We would lighten the mood up a little with the game. Do stay with us. So next on the Natalie Ford Show is Fantastic. And David, the game picked for you is Guess the Symbol because of your work. I know you use a lot of traditional symbols. So I'm going to show you photos of Adinkra symbols, and you have to let me know the names and the meanings of these symbols, all three of them, in no more than 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, wonderful. So here is the first symbol.
No idea.
No idea. Okay, so the first symbol is called akofena, which means sword of war, represents courage, valor, and heroism.
Okay.
Now, second symbol.
Endurance.
Endurance. That's okay. Second symbol you say means endurance, right?
Yeah.
So second symbol is aya. It's a fern.
Okay.
And yes, it represents endurance, so you're correct there. Okay. Independence and perseverance. Now, the third symbol is this one.
Nah.
No clue?
Yeah, I've been using it, but
you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you've been using it in your designs.
Sure.
Okay. So the third symbol is quite a difficult one, but Kwatache Atiko. It's a special hairstyle of Kwatache, who is known as a captain of Old Asante, representing bravery and fearlessness.
Oh, okay.
So there you have it. So 1 out of 3.
Yeah. Oh.
You're coming. Yeah. All right, David. And these were picked also. Well, I picked them because I believe that they represent your story and that your journey shows all of these meaning of these three symbols. So thank you. And keep going.
All right.
And thank you for being on the Natalie Ford Show.
Thank you for the opportunity as well. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you. That does it with Fantastic here on the show. Stay with us. We've got Star Woman and Proud of My Hustle next.
One word, she's purpose-driven. Because I am advocate for divine purpose, and I believe that for everything we do here, everyone has a purpose, and through our gifts, talents, and our callings, we exhibit and fulfill those. Right, mine, I believe, would be to make an impact for people to be aware of, through the awareness of their divine purpose, and through that, I believe that by my service at church as a youth facilitator, and also by my service as a counselor, in a few callings that I have around with the youth. I believe I'm doing that so far. Right, a typical day, I usually wake up, have my personal devotions, and after that I do some audio recordings, because I do voiceovers and all, but that's a personal one. I do audio recordings which has to do with devotions, and I broadcast them to friends and families. I can add you to it if you want. And then after that I have an exercise routine, just a little one, and then I set up on my schedule, which I planned a day before. Yes. Professionally, I'm a multifaceted entrepreneur, but I will say a few about it. I am into interior design, and I'm one of the few female painters in Ghana, house painters to be specific, and I do portraits as well. So I'm actually a creative, and then I am into events management, and then I do some craftsmanship. I design handmade beaded accessories as well. I will say it's quite challenging, but I do enjoy it, and it brings me back to purpose. When you find yourself in what you're supposed to do, nothing seems like work. It rather seems more of an accomplishment, irrespective of the size of it. Now, I remember recently I had a call from one of my vendors, and we were supposed to have a seminar. I walk into the room and I find myself the only lady amongst 30 men. Every question I ask during question and answering seems a bit awkward, because you raising up your hand is like, what's she doing here? But I rather found it exciting, because then it made me realize that whatever I've been chasing ever since I was a kid, I was in that place. I'm in the place of my destiny. I'm in the center of it, and that's all that matters. So I was rather encouraged and very, should I say, fulfilled? Yeah. Not yet, I'm not there yet, but it's a step further. I've lost many contracts because of that, quite a number. So let me give you an example, especially when it has to do with male clients. They take me home, I send in a quote, I do an inspection, and then their wives find out that the person coming to do the work is a lady, and then the contract gets cancelled. I've had quite a number of that. So it doesn't stop me, but it's more exciting when I find out that a lady wants me to paint. Then it makes it easier. So that's one biggest challenge. And then the other, if I may add, will be with the ego of artisans. Most of them are male, I've had artisans tell me in my face that they can't take orders from a woman. Yes, but that's another huge challenge. But we move.
It empowers you, I guess.
It does empower me. Just to make them understand that when you meet a female painter or a female boss, you actually are getting good work ethics. Not to say the males aren't, but good work ethics, and then you get a motherly affection on the job. So it's more positive than negative. Wow. An ideal vacation would be no phone, and definitely no disturbances, but more flying away, actually, outside Ghana. And the first place that comes to mind for now would be Japan. My Bible, my flats, as in flat slippers, and I think my perfumes, yeah.
Certainly a very inspiring one there, as always. And you should be proud of what you do, because on the Natalie Fort Show, I'm proud of my hustle. We seek to celebrate you. Let's see who's next on Proud of My Hustle.
Oh, we're from Nanaya. Mid-tone ties, flying ties, bow ties, and different. After school, now we buy. It's me fancy. 6 years there. When I'm there, I started selling headphones for some, I think, 4 years, and I switched it to flying ties. Flying ties, but from my beginning, I'm starting headphones. I was staying with somebody, but I was able to save something. I'm younger, something there in my apartment. The water, BBA, everything, up and down. BBA. My name is Nanaya. I'm proud of my hustle.
And definitely you should be proud of your hustle. Now, as we round up with the Natalie Fort Show this evening, I want to share something brief with you off the back of David's story. So many times, some of us get comfortable in the rut of a safe space, of being an employee. Now, being an employee is not always a negative thing. It's a great thing to serve others and to support the dreams of others with their organizations. However, it's also very important to recognize that that alone will not lead you to the life of your dreams. And so just as David did and did not want to remain the IT guy for the rest of his life, maybe you too should take a bold step towards your purpose and your passion. And remember that with some determination and consistency and perseverance, you sure can make it. Thanks so much for watching the Natalie Fort Show this evening. A big thank you to our sponsors, MTN, Taft College, supported by Wella Dazzles for this episode. We'll be next on your screens next week with more conversations that matter. Have a good evening.
The Natalie Fort Show was brought to you by MTN, supported by